Get ready.
This is the voice of Wayne America.
Lighten up, Francis.
With your host,
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Mike Carnes.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers?
By height.
Only at WayneAmerica.com.
The supernova's gonna kill us all.
Okay, this guy is the real zero, that's true. Let's just think back when you guys were freshmen, huh?
.com.
Greetings from Wayne America. This is the Voice of Wayne America podcast, an exclusive here at WayneAmerica.com. I'm your host, Mike Carnes, and every week here on the big show, we talk with somebody who has some kind of connection to the best town in all of America, and that, of course, is right here in Wayne America. I want to thank our sponsors, including AKA 142 Media, and your business can also be a sponsor here on the program. Just shoot me an email at mike@mikeycproductions.com for more information on that. Change is inevitable in this world, and two people here sitting with me this afternoon can tell you all about change because they have just experienced some of it here in the recent weeks, and it's a change that's not only going to benefit them professionally and personally, but it's going to be a big boost for the community of Wayne as well. We have our new city administrator and our new Executive Director of the Wayne Area Chamber of Commerce on the big show today. Wes Blecke is the new city administrator, taking over for Lowell Johnson, who retired here recently. And since Wes has taken that position, he leaves his older position as the Wayne Area Chamber of Commerce, and stepping in to fill that position is Luke Virgil, who comes to us from the community of Laurel. And guys, welcome to the program this week. And I know this is kind of an interesting time period for both of you guys. Wes has kind of starting to get settled into his new position, and you're prepared to take over his position here his old position here in a couple weeks. So got to be really exciting for both of you.
Yeah, Mike. Thanks for interviewing us. I'm excited to have Luke come on board in my old position and make it bigger and better than it was. Very pleased to be with the city of Wayne, being able to continue some of the things started with economic development and business growth. I'll be able to hand that over to Luke now and be able to work in partnership with Wayne Area Economic Development.
Yeah, and Luke, coming here from Laurel, it's got to be really exciting for you to step into Wes's old shoes there.
Exciting, yes, but there's going to be a learning curve. No matter what anybody tries to tell you, there's always going to be that transition period where you got to learn the new ropes, you got to learn the new personalities, and I'm looking forward to it very much so. But at the same time, one could argue it's also going to be a little overwhelming. So
yeah. There's always a lot of things you got to learn when you step into a new position. I remember when I came here 8 years ago now that I came on board at the Wayne Herald originally, and it took some time to learn how things go in the office and how things go in the community, and so there's always that little uncomfortable period when you first start off and you're first learning the ropes of the community. But tell me about taking this position, Luke. You were one of 4 finalists for the position that interviewed for the job, and got the word here on Monday that you were going to be named the new executive director of the Chamber of Commerce. Tell me a little bit about going through that process, what it was like for you.
it was fun. I mean, you learn a lot about yourself when you go through a job search, whether you're the person doing the job search or you're the one looking for a job. And I learned a lot about myself through the whole process, and I had a tremendous experience. I felt, the way that Wayne Area Economic Development did the process was good. I had a lot of fun with the community interviews, especially. I know there was some discussion that was a different way of doing things, but it really was a good way to kind of get an introduction to the community and let them see who could be filling the shoes.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
That's all.
Oh, okay. I was saying the community interview process. I don't know. It's something that this community has done for a number of interviews. I know whenever Wayne State is looking for a new coach, I know they always invite the community in for an interview, kind of a get to know the candidates type of thing. And I think it's something I haven't really seen that in other communities that I've been in over the years. So I'm sure that's got to be kind of a challenging approach for you, or a challenging thing for you to experience, where you you meet the people that you're going to be working for, and then on top of that, it's almost like getting a new girlfriend or boyfriend, and then going to meet the parents. It's
Right.
It's an opportunity to really get to know a lot of people.
I guess I'd spin it the other way. It means that this community takes a lot of interest in the economic development process here in the community. And so when we had a really good crowd for all 4 candidates, it was a little intimidating walking into the room and seeing that there's about 20 or 25 people during the sessions. At least there was during mine, and you have to step up to the plate. And so from what I heard, all 4 candidates really stepped up to the plate and delivered some good discussion and answered questions well for the community. So I just am appreciative for the opportunity, because it means that so many more people are going to be supportive of what's going on in this town, and they do take an interest in the town.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your experience in Laurel, being the economic development director there. I know there's been some nice opportunities that have come to that community here in the last several years, and some really good economic benefit to the community. Tell me a little bit about how you got into that position initially, and what you experienced during your time there.
I originally worked for the Laurel Advocate when I moved up to Laurel, and my wife had been working at the school, so it was a good move for me to be coming up to the community in the capacity for the paper. And then when Annette Junk resigned to go into private business, she had kind of talked to me anyway and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about economic development? You might be really good." And when she resigned, I made sure to express my interest and put my name in the hat, and I was selected. And it was a whole new sector I had never really thought of. And then once I got into the position, spent about a year on the job, and then I got into the Heartland Basic Institute. It's just like the Economic Development 101 class that they encourage most people to go to. I went to that class and I said, this is the career that I really enjoy. It fit a lot of my strengths as far as my personality and just my professional strengths. And then it gave me a career path at the same time. That was something that when I came out of college, well, everybody's a little unsure of what they want to be when they grow up, and within a few years I really felt that this was a career that I could make a decent living at and have fun with at the same time.
Yeah. What are some of the things that Laurel was able to see come into town during your time here?
Well, the big one that my wife will kill me for bringing up yet again is the Agrex Inc. Shuttle loader facility on the northwest corner of town. It was like a $20 or $25 million project. I came in partway through the process, but my first day on the job, I was told by one of our attorneys, "Well, welcome to the job. Here's this project." And so that dominated a lot of my first 2, maybe 3 years that I was in Laurel. But in that time, we also had Laurel Biocomposite coming into town. We had a downtown revitalization project that I inherited, and so I had to finish out that. And since those have all kind of morphed into either a mature project or something that I don't need to babysit all the time, we've been working on other stuff, like just traditional business visits. We have done a lot of strategic planning. And through that strategic planning, the biggest project I've been working on is a community center. And I know that here in Wayne they've got the Beaumont going in on the north side of town, but Laurel has always talked about wanting or needing a facility that could handle a lot of those bigger events or more meeting rooms or something. So that strategic planning process really brought us to my latest big project that we've been working on.
Now you're going to be stepping in for Wes's old position, and Wes, I know that this is something you've been excited about taking over as the city administrator. You had some prior experience in Ashland before coming to Wayne, and so this has been a great opportunity for you to step into this position. Talk a little bit about the process of becoming the new city administrator and making the transition over from the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I joke that I've been interviewing for about 11 and a half years here in Wayne for the position. No, when you move to a community, and we came to Wayne in 2005, really for my wife's job at the time at the college with physical therapy, Wildcat Sports Medicine, and you only have one administrator in the community, kind of like you only have one economic development guy or gal. And so I had to kind of bide my time for a while. I was in administration for 3 years in Ashland, right out of grad school. I got my first job in Ashland, and so I guess took a different career path with economic development for about 11 and a half years, and then had the opportunity to to step into this role here, which has kind of been a lifelong dream. So yeah, living the dream. I guess
Yeah,
you could
finally
say.
living the dream,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
Yeah. Your experience in Ashland, what did you learn from that experience that you can apply here in Wayne at this position?
The communities are very different. Communities are very different. So the experience, a lot of the experience I gained in Ashland, I would have said would have been on the personnel side. I too had a police department issue to work through when I first stepped into Ashland. A lot of Ashland was a community of, this is cliche, the haves and have-nots. It was a very segregated community on that front. Some wanting change and some absolutely no change ever. And you're seeing a little bit of that in Ashland right now with some of the things going on with development. But that was wasn't something you could overcome. It was something you had to manage because some people just did not want change. And so Wayne is much different than that. I think Wayne is a much more progressive community, a community that embraces change, are willing to push the envelope on things, and are willing to take chances, and things like that. So it's a different community. Proximity-wise, I would say Ashland, between Omaha and Lincoln, you can't beat that. Wayne is in a pretty darn good geographic location too, between Norfolk and Sioux City. Sioux Falls, Omaha, it's in a very good strategic place. So location-wise, Wayne is very, very comparable, I think, to Ashland on that. But otherwise, there's lots of differences that I'm willing to embrace and take on here in Wayne, because Wayne's a great community, and looking forward to some of the things that we can do here.
Did that experience in Ashland that help you out as the economic development director in being able to work with Lowell Johnson when he was city administrator here? You kind of have an idea of what direction he's coming from as the manager of the city when you're trying to work on economic development.
Yeah, I definitely knew how the city would fit into the bigger scheme, I guess, of economic development. But Ashland, we did not have economic development. That was something that was just starting up as I was leaving. I kind of started the conversation and then said, I'm out of here. Not that I was hired only because of that experience, but I applied for the director position back in 2005 when the company, or when the organization was first started, and did not get that. Dave Simonson got that position, and then the assistant position was the next one to be filled. And told this story a lot of times. I had a conversation with Lowell Johnson and said, I want your job obviously someday, but I don't know if I want to be an assistant director for economic development. I don't know anything about economic development, and how is that going to, help me with my career path? I was going to stay at home and be a stay-at-home dad. That was my plan. And Lowell Johnson said, that's noble and all, but for your resume building and stuff, it would behoove you to do something other than that. And so I took the job, and one thing led to the next, being able to become the director in 2009, and then having the opportunity to be city administrator here in 2017. So. Looking back, it was a smart move. At the time, I didn't know that. I had no experience in economic development. I didn't know if that's what I wanted to do, but they definitely fit nicely together. And I think I was hired because I think Dave Simonson saw we got a city administrator here that would like to be an assistant director for economic development, and he jumped all over that. And I was kind of that liaison between anything with the city, and it worked out very well for us. We had a really, really strong team. That's going back to economic development. Since the inception in 2005, there's been a very strong team together in economic development, from Dave's strengths and weaknesses to mine to Irene's. Irene and I were for 11 and a half years together. Irene now longer. So that's what economic development has been so critical in Wayne. The continuity with people like Irene and I that have been there a long time. Mm-hmm. And Irene is still there, and so she's going to help kind of lead that transition with Luke here too, and any other personnel that they have. I think that's been very good for Wayne, the consistency of the program of economic development and the relationship with the city of Wayne proper as well.
Yeah. What can you go back on your relationship with Lowell between economic director and city administrator? What were you how were you able to work together here over the last 11 years that you've been in this job, and a lot of great things have happened in the community of Wayne over the last decade or so from an economic development standpoint. Talk a little bit about how you two were able to work together.
Well, economic development, you have a board of directors, but I almost considered Lowell as my direct supervisor at times. We were treated, economic development a lot of times is almost treated as like a department of the city. Most people think we're city employees at the economic development, which they are not. They're a private nonprofit corporation. So I leaned on Lowell for a lot of different things. Lowell was very good at economic development. He had the exact same training that I had in economic development, going through the Heartland Basic as well as OU EDI for 3 years, both being graduates of the University of Oklahoma. And so we had the exact same background on education. And he had done economic development here with the city, not knowingly, but he had done it. And so I leaned on him a lot, as well as Nancy Braden on the development side, on the finance side. And so, Lowell kind of tutored me along and got me comfortable with what I was doing in economic development as well. Dave Simonson was a great resource as well, a little different approach than what Lowell had. But, learned a lot of things from Lowell, was able to stay kind of involved with that, my love of city government, being able to work through things with Lowell on that. Having to know what the water main sizes are and what's the flow for the sewer plant and roads and those types of things, all is economic development. You just don't always think of it that way. Mm-hmm. So it was a great experience to have Lowell here as long as I could with what he was doing. And then I was able to sit with him here for about a month, and he was able to tell me about the projects going on in Wayne and those types of things. And he was never overbearing on anything. He let me kind of figure out those things on my own. And since then, he's open to, if I ever need him for anything, I can give him a call. I have not had to do that yet on anything, and I'm trying not to. But I know that line of communications is open, and he'll even text me once in a while and see how things are going, and just reach out and say, if you need anything, just remember I'm here. So it's been a very good relationship on that end. And I knew Lowell for. I've known Lowell for a long time.
Let's say you being from Wakefield and him being a former administrator there, that's a relationship that goes beyond the city relationship.
It does. His wife Kathy was my 4th grade teacher in Wakefield. His 2 sons both graduated with my older sisters, and so he's almost been like a father figure to me over the years. So it was fun to be able to take over then for someone like him.
And it's got to have made for a pretty nice transition for the city employees to knowing that you have that background with Lowell professionally and personally. I'm sure it's made the transition a lot smoother.
Yeah, I had worked with a lot of the employees here through economic development. Tim Sutton needing electrical information, or Jeff Brady needed to know about water and sewer system and things like that. I knew there was a pretty good group here because they were always very responsive. Who was I? They didn't have to answer to me unless Lowell told them they had to. Yeah. But they were always very responsive and gave me good information on economic development things going on. And then once I got here, I realized they're for real. There's a great staff here with the city that bend over backwards to they're trying to save money all the time, doing things more efficiently. To have a better product, whether that be a street or a new wire, a tap, or whatever it might be, and they're trying to do it in the most inexpensive way they can. So they're really looking out for the general citizen, and so I really appreciate all the hard work that they do. And I've been here a month, and I've already noticed that. So it's city's in good hands. The staff does a great job. And they truly are looking out for the best in all the entire community. Yeah,
we're talking with Luke Virgil, the incoming executive director of the Wayne Area Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development, and Wes Blecke, who is the outgoing executive director and is now the city administrator for the city of Wayne here on Voice of Wayne America. I want to take a quick a moment to answer the question, what does AKA in AKA 142 Media stand for? It stands for many things, but the most important thing is that it provides awesome kickin' apps that can be downloaded to your phone or your tablet. Let your school, your favorite youth sports program, or your local business, AKA 142 Media, can build an awesome kickin' app that meets your needs. And make sure you download the official Wayne America mobile app that's now available for your smartphone and mobile app. Every time there's an update on WayneAmerica.com, you get an update on your mobile app or your mobile phone or your tablet with the Wayne America mobile app. So check it out. For more information on getting the mobile app design, send Kevin an email at kevin@aka142.com and tell him that Mike sent you. That's aka142 media, awesome kicking apps. On the Voice of Wayne America podcast this week, Luke Virgil, the incoming director of the Wayne Area Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development, and Wes Blecke, who Luke is replacing, as Wes is now the city administrator for the city of Wayne. I know that you two have been able to work alongside each other on a number of things in the short time that Luke's been involved in economic development. Talk a little about your guys' relationship and how that's going to make this this situation work out with you coming in and taking over for Wes.
I ran into Wes for the very first time when I was in college at Wayne State, and he was back for some reason or another, and I was there for a legislative forum, and I was on the State Board of Trustees as a student representative at the time, and we met at lunch, and we were told, hey, I was told you might want to sit and talk to this guy. He's a former poli-sci major, and now he's down in Ashland, and he's doing big things down in Ashland. And so we had a good discussion, and then whatever it was in 2012, probably one of the first phone calls I made as the new economic development coordinator for the city of Laurel was down to Wes, because I knew he was in Wayne. He'd been there for a few years. I think he had been director for probably 2 years, 3 years. And I said, can we have a conversation? I've got this new gig and would like a little guidance. So we've had, doesn't mean that we were in contact the whole time over that 6 or 7 years between that original lunch or when I came down after I was appointed in Laurel. But I knew that he was somebody who had a similar background that I did, and he had experience in the business that I was now a part of. And Wes has always taken care of me. And of all the people I need to thank, besides my wife, as far as going forward with this transition, Wes is probably one of the other top ones, because he's given me a lot of advice. He's given me a lot of opportunities to stay familiar with Wayne. We both really believe in regionalism, and he always would joke, Wayne's got a lot of stuff, but we don't have rail. I'll send them up to Laurel because Laurel has rail, and rail is extremely important in economic development as far as shipping and transportation is concerned. So we had that relationship, and it worked well.
Yeah. Talk a little bit from your side, Wes, on the relationship between you and Luke.
Yeah, initially Luke talks about regionalism and how I'm serious when I say, Laurel, you have to keep Laurel close to you because they do have something that we don't have, and being rail, for projects in economic development. And what's good I always said this, if you got a project coming to town or coming to the state of Nebraska, and they're looking at Grand Island and Scotts Bluff and northeast Nebraska, and Wayne can't handle it because of rail or whatever it might be, you'd much rather have them in Laurel, Nebraska than Grand Island or Scotts Bluff, because it's going to be a direct benefit to Wayne, even though you don't have the property tax per se in Wayne proper. You're going to get kids in the schools, you're going to get families in homes, you're going to get people in Laurel shopping in Wayne, like it or not. Laurel people shop in Wayne for their groceries and different things, and so there's always those indirect benefits. And so that's why I do that with a lot of other communities. Wayne Area Economic Development has the flexibility that they're area wide. They're not county wide, they're not city wide, so they can reach out. And so I'd reach out to Luke different times to say, hey, we're going down to the legislature for whatever, or leadership Wayne, whatever it might be, and said, come along, because I knew that Wayne's budget was such that they could do a few more things than the city of Laurel or Wakefield. I would invite Wakefield along to things as well, just to try to build that regional aspect. And I think we have done that. It was before Luke even. It was also with Annette. We would do that as well. But no, Luke, I remember Luke in college. I don't know if I may have even guest spoke at a class or two that Luke was in. I'm not sure, because Joe Blank and I would have me do that once in a while. But no, I think Luke would be a great fit here in Wayne. I'm eager to get to work with them more directly than before. We had some projects we'd work on together, not economic development, job creation things, but it was more on what type of regional things could we do for a conference here or there, or how can we strengthen a network we might have with other economic developers throughout the region, and those types of things is what we've really worked on the most together. I don't think we've ever worked on an actual project together, an economic development project.
And like I said, you've given me opportunities to come down and familiarize myself, but also to familiarize key assets in Wayne about what Laurel has to offer. I remember you had your FAM tour here
Yep, you bet.
in Wayne a couple of years ago, and you invited me to come down and give a presentation on Laurel to highlight that difference between what Laurel has with the rail and what Wayne doesn't have with rail, but all the other things that we can be partners on. You know, like you said, because people cross over in jobs, people cross over in how they shop and where they live, and it really is a regional effort and it needs to be a regional effort, not just before, but going forward as well.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting that, city administrator position, again, I joke that 11 and a half years I've been interviewing for it and wanting this position. I think Luke is in that same situation. I think Luke has been looking at Wayne as an opportunity if I ever did move somewhere else or get let go or whatever with the economic development office, that I think he's always kind of been looking at this job, and Luke can correct me if I'm wrong on that. So it's kind of fun to say, I really wanted this administrator position. I think Luke really wanted the economic development position. So it's kind of a neat similarity we have.
Well, and I there were some days going through the selection process with Wayne Area Economic Development. I was like, I hope this isn't a rehash of all the things that Wes said going through city administrator search process. Like, I feel like I've kind of interviewed for this job to some degree. I'm very familiar with the community, and it's. I didn't want it to sound like that, but there is a lot of.
Well, yeah, it worked for him, so.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for him too. Yeah, hopefully it worked. And now, now I can say it did work for me too. Yeah. But it was. At the same token, it's not been an easy decision because Laurel has been so good to myself and my family, and it gave me that taste of what economic development can be. And like I mentioned with some of the projects, that really, what I feel is the best part of economic development, that high-end business recruitment, dealing with the C-level as they work through the decisions to go from, we like your town, to what makes your town that much better than the other 3 sites that are finalists. And that, to me, that's one of the more fun processes of economic development. And so I'll always appreciate that Laurel gave me that taste, and hopefully we can do that again and again and again here in Wayne. And I think with Wes in the city administrator role, we'll have a good partnership to tackle those possibilities, but at the same time, keep working with all of our existing businesses, because they are the heart and soul of what makes Wayne America, Wayne America.
Definitely. What I guess you're going to be starting on September 11th. Is that right?
That's the plan.
Okay. And do you have a to-do list of things that Wes left behind for you to finish up or start up or?
I think I've talked with Irene a little bit, and she said the first week we're just going to get your head wrapped around a lot of stuff, and the formal. We got to get you on payroll, blah, 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 some of the nitty gritty stuff. But then I think that week is also a pretty big cycle for meetings. She said B&I is going to be that week, and the executive committee will probably be that week, and then the following week is the full board meeting.
Leadership starts the second day you
start.
Yeah.
So I've got plenty of exposure. Somebody else mentioned the chicken show. Planning committee starts meeting that week as well. So I kind of joke, I don't get to hit the ground running. I get to hit the ground sprinting more or less, and I just hope my stamina keeps up.
Yeah, and if all else fails, Wes is right up the street here. You can stop by,
make an appointment. Yeah.
So and Wes, obviously you've made the transition over here, and it seems like things have gone pretty well. I know you're gonna have to replace your city finance director here at the end of the year. I know Nancy's retiring at the end of the year, so that's probably your first major hire that you're gonna have to make here. But
we're starting interviewing next week on that. So yeah, hopefully by the end of September or so that position is filled. And Nancy is talk about big shoes to fill.
Definitely.
Nancy has some huge shoes to fill, but hopefully they can work with her for a couple of months before she leaves. We've been set up very well here in Wayne, with me being able to learn from Lowell for a month there to figure out the projects going on. Same thing with Nancy of what her daily tasks are and things like that. And Nancy is incredibly detail oriented, so I've got a packet of about 18 pages of the things she does, throughout the year. But as finance director, as city treasurer, also as airport treasurer. So she's got a lot of things on her plate. And so, that'll be an interesting selection on that as well. So there's lots of changes in Wayne going on. I mean, when you talk about new economic development, new city administrator, new finance director with the city, there's a lot of key components that are being changed over. And while the old might have been working really well and going along smoothly, we're hoping that the new is that much better. So I think we've all inherited very good situations, and so we're charged to make things even better than they already are.
Yeah, this is kind of the next probably 14, 16 months are going to be kind of interesting, because not only would we have these changes that you mentioned, but a year from now we're going to be in another election cycle, so we may potentially have a new mayor, may have some new city councilmen as well. So it's kind of an interesting and exciting time period, I guess, in city government and economic development with the changes that are taking place.
Change is inevitable. It's how you manage them. How you manage that change and get the most out of it that you can.
Definitely. So obviously you got two guys here who are excited about their new positions and looking forward to getting involved in that and working together on things, and I look forward to working with both of you in your new jobs, in your new capacities here with the city of Wayne and with Wayne Economic Development. So thanks a lot for talking on the show this week, and best of luck on what lies ahead.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we've been talking with Luke Virgil, the new executive director of Wayne Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development, and Wes Blecke, the new city administrator for the city of Wayne, here on the Voice of Wayne America podcast. That's going to do it for this week's edition, and want to thank those guys for taking the time to talk with us. Check back to WayneAmerica.com as we continue to tell the stories of the people who make this the best town in all of America. That's right here in Wayne, America. Have yourselves a good week, and we'll see you later.